Hello and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going over 10 money saving strategies that you can implement to save money around your home. As let's face it, a lot of us are spending more time at home, and with talks of possible new quarantines coming up, we're all going to be spending more time at home, and it would be nice if we knew how to save more money while we stay at our homes. But before we dive into today's video, like always, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to this channel, as I put out content like this weekly regarding saving money, paying off debt, and other ways that you can save money around your home. Alright, getting right down to business with tip number 1, and that is to utilize Facebook marketplaces or garage sales to help furnish your home. It is nice to go to a big store and get yourself some new furniture, or go to places like Home Goods or Raymore and Flanagan to get items to furnish your house, but you can also find really nice items on places like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, or just going around to your local garage sale. My wife and I did this for some of the items that we now have in our house, such as, if you saw my last video, I was sitting at a brown table. That is our dining room table, which we got at a local garage sale for, drumroll please, $20. And hey, it served us for what we needed to. We eat breakfast at it, lunch at it, dinner at it. I've used it to record videos at. My wife uses it to study at and do homework at, etc. It works well. So yes, tip number 1, use Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, or any other online site that has home furnishing items at a discount. Tip number 2, I really like this one, and it's to save money on your gas and electric bill by not leaving your lights on, replacing your light bulbs with more efficient types of light bulbs. And the last part is to save money by not letting your heater or your AC run indefinitely, but to instead set a timer on those things so that they shut off when you want them to. At my house, I really feel like I'm a dad now. I go through all the different rooms and make sure the lights are off, that no one left them on, so that I can cut back on that electricity bill each month. We also have here a smart thermostat, so I can set it so that, let's say in the morning, I want it to be warm when I get out of bed. So at whatever time I get out of the bed, I'll set it so that the heat kicks on. But then when I leave for work, it's set so that the heater will actually turn off, so that heat's not running throughout the day when no one's home to experience the warmth. Tip number 3 is to not throw away your recycling. Now, if when I said that you looked at me like I had 18 heads, let me explain. Where I'm from, you have 2 options. One of those is that you have people that come by your house and they take your garbage for you in a routine garbage pickup each week. Or you could be in a certain portion of the town that it's not covered in the taxes to do that, and so you're responsible to take your garbage and recycling to a local landfill. I happen to be in a section of town where I'm responsible to take care of my own trash. When you go to the landfill, you have to purchase a special type of garbage bag with their seal on it, and then you put your garbage bags in those big garbage bags, and then you throw it into the landfill. However, if you mix your recycling and your garbage together, those bags fill up pretty quickly, as recycling usually is more bulky and it takes up more space, and you don't get to put as much trash into a bag if you're putting cardboard boxes and other stuff like that into your garbage. The best thing to do is just to separate them out, make sure that only your garbage is in your garbage bags, and then you just put your recycling into a separate bag and you can take it there and dump it out, and that you can do absolutely for free. Tip number 4 is along the similar lines, and that is to not throw away your food scraps into your garbage, but to instead compost them. What this looks like is, instead of throwing your leftover eggshells out, or leftover squash, or apple peels, or potato peels, or whatever, instead of throwing those into the garbage, you put them into a compost bin. This inevitably will save space in your trash can, which means you can fit more trash into it, which will in turn save you money, as I just explained up in tip number 3. My wife and I do this, and we keep our little compost bin underneath our sink. That way no one really sees it, we don't really see it, we can't smell it because it's hidden away underneath the closed door. And when the compost bin gets full, I take it outside and put it into our compost pile, which then I use to fertilize our garden come springtime and summertime. And this leads into a nice segue into tip number 5, which is, as you might have guessed, to grow your own food at your home. Growing your own food and gardening is something that is very near and dear to my heart. For the last 3 years, I've studied and researched ways that I can improve my gardening techniques That way, come harvest time, I have more fruit and vegetables to pick, and I've also researched ways that I can preserve them. That way, the food doesn't just go to waste, but that it's stored up for wintertime or whenever I need it. If you do this right and have a well-diversified garden, you could greatly reduce your grocery store costs, especially if you know how to preserve your harvest each year well. If you know how to do that, you can really set yourself up. I've watched videos of people that they literally don't even go to the grocery store except for a few basic items because they do this so well and they have such wonderful gardens. Moving on to tip number 6, and that is to utilize your local dollar store or Dollar General to buy small household items like cleaning supplies, toilet paper, toiletries, things of that nature. The best strategy to use when going to a dollar store or a Dollar General is that a lot of these stores have coupons they give out throughout the week if you shop at them. They'll have it right at the end of your receipt. So the best thing to do is to go there throughout the week, buy something small, then come home, take inventory of what you need at your house, and then on Saturday, or whenever the coupon is for, go back out, get your toiletries, get your small pantry items, and then use that coupon that you got when you shop there throughout the week. Yes, I know it's not a huge savings, but hey, anybody's savings counts, am I right? Moving on to tip number 7, and this one might be a little bit controversial, but here we go, let's do it, and that is to only use one streaming source in your house. That means you don't have all these different subscriptions to Hulu and Disney Plus and Netflix and Amazon Prime, and you try to watch videos on all those different platforms. I mean, ask yourself, can you really sit down and watch movies and TV shows from all 4 of those platforms at once? No, not really. I don't think you can, at least. So the best thing to do is just to pay for one of those, use it for whatever you want to, watch the movies, watch the TV shows, then cancel it, move on to another one, explore their options. When you're through with that one, cancel it and move on to another one. By doing this, you won't be paying for 3 to 4 different streaming services a month, and that way you'll end up saving yourself a little bit of cash on the side that you can put towards other things. Alright, before we get on to tip number 8, which I think is my favorite tip of this entire list, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Anyway, the big tip, the tip number 8 that I'm very excited to share with all of you, and this is to become your own barista. Coffee is something that a lot of Americans go out and purchase every single day. Dunkin' Donuts was right when they said that America runs on Dunkin'. But I want to do a little simple math with you here and show you something which is very eye-opening. It opened my eyes, and so I hope it opens yours. Let's say you go to Dunkin', and the typical thing that my wife gets is around $5. It's like the iced latte with a little bit of caramel, with almond milk and whipped cream and double sleeved and no cup. It usually comes to about $5 or a little over that. Let's round it up and say that it's $5.50. Oh, now usually when you go to Dunkin', you probably don't just go once a week. So let's say you're going about maybe 3 times a week, and one of those times you might have someone else with you. So we'll do $5.50 times 4 as if you went there 4 times a week, or if you went there, 2 times with another person both of those times. That comes to $22 per week. Now, let's say you do this about every week of the year, which a lot of Americans do. So what we do is we take 22 and we times it by 52, and we get ourselves $1,144. Now let's just take a second to step back and look at that number and think about what things you could be using $1,144 for. Hey, you can invest in the stock market, you can buy yourself some groceries, you can pay off student loans, you can do a lot of things with that money. Anyway, I'm done with harping on making your own coffee. This is something that I've really tried to encourage my wife to do. We have a Keurig and we get the little K-cups. Sometimes we grind up our own beans and we do it that way. If you like iced coffee, make it the night before, put it in the refrigerator or the freezer, and that way the next morning you have a nice cup of iced coffee for you that you can do whatever you want with. Moving on to tip number 9, and that is to become your own plumber or your own mechanic. You'd actually be surprised with how many things around your house that break down or that just go wrong that you could actually fix yourself. We live in a day and age where you can look up anything you want on Google search or on YouTube, and after watching 2 to 3 videos, you're pretty much an expert in the subject. That's a joke. You're not actually probably an expert in the subject, but you probably have enough knowledge from watching on YouTube to figure out how you can do basic things around your house to prevent yourself from needing to call a mechanic or a plumber and then paying their high fees for them to come out to your house, and you know they don't come out the next day either. You end up waiting like 2 to 3 weeks, and then they come out, and then it happened to be a time when you weren't home, so they have to reschedule. 2 to 3 weeks later, they may come out, but then they couldn't find the house. It's a nightmare. Learn how to do small fixes around your home yourself. You'll end up saving yourself actually probably quite a bit of money with this one. Now, obviously, it goes without saying for bigger things that involve electricity or working with gas, those are things that you're probably going to want to hire an expert and a professional to do, as you don't want to explode your home or electrocute yourself. Moving on to the final tip number 10, and that is when you cook your meals, try to make meals that you're going to have leftovers with. I really like this one. My wife has implemented this quite a lot, and she'll usually make things like soups or stews or pasta, stuff that you can make in abundance and that you can have throughout the week. I really like this because I like to eat. So when we have leftovers, that means that come midnight or 1 a.m., I can go downstairs and there's going to be stuff in the fridge that I can eat. Also, having leftovers in your fridge greatly reduces your need to go back out to the grocery store and buy more items and more supplies, which then cost you more money. So having leftovers is a great way to save money. And there you have it. 10 money-saving tips that you can implement while staying home to save yourself some cash. I really appreciate it if you've made it all the way to the end. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe, as I'm going to be putting out content like this weekly about saving money, paying off debt, and other things related to your finances. Along the way, I'll be sharing my progress towards becoming more financially independent and financially secure with my wife in our new home, paying a mortgage, paying off student loan debts, and all the other things that we do throughout our lives. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.